What is good, guys? M.V.K here, back again. We are here for another turnabout for X-Men 97. This is the next episode, episode 7, entitled BrightEyes. So you kind of knew where this might have been going with this episode in terms of the premise, who may be the center of this character, and this was something that Rogue used to say. This episode was mainly about grieving, how one grieves, how one should grieve, the turnabouts of grief. We get a cameo of another Marvel character in here with Captain America, which I believe was voiced by Josh Keaton. I could be wrong. It sounded like him. I'm like, is that Josh Keaton? But this was an episode just about grieving, and we got to see kind of who is the real chess player, who's playing chess with the X-Men. And I told y'all from day one who was that. I told y'all, and I had people telling me, saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, it's gonna be Sinister all the way, blah, 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 blah. Told y'all, don't doubt me. Don't ever doubt me. Don't ever doubt a geek that knows his shit. Bastion is in full effect. I told you. And more importantly, we saw another. So let's get into this, shall we? So we see the funeral of Gambit. Nightcrawler gives a very beautiful eulogy about Gambit's character, and what I was really impressed by that was who showed up to his funeral. We saw his brother Bobby, we saw Pierre, and we saw Belladonna. I was shocked when I was like, that Bella? That's Belladonna. Whoa, she's here? That threw me. So, yes, we saw the eulogy. Now, let's start with there. Is Gambit dead? Hell no. He ain't dead for long. I guarantee you, he's gonna be back. Maybe not this season. Maybe not next season. But somewhere down the line, he is returning, but as a horseman. I said this on my Q&A stream last night. He's coming back as a horseman. Apocalypse is going to bring him back as Death, which he has been in the comics. They're pulling from the source material, guys. Y'all have to stop feeling like, oh, this is stupid. Why are they? They're pulling from the source material. Sorry. We also get to see Rogue in her own way. This was the clip they showed of her going to town on some secret facility with a group of people called OYT. OYT. I think it was something like that. And next thing you know, I'm not sure if that general was supposed to be General Ross, because I kind of reminded, I'm like, is that Ross? Is that supposed to be Ross? But I guess not. I could have been wrong. Outside of that, Rogue does her thing, and then of course we see that Peter Gyrick is out, and he's not in some new prison. He's lavishing it up in Mexico. And that's where, before that, that's where we see Rogue. We saw the shield, and Rogue meets Cap. Cap knows Rogue. That was the interesting. I'm like, whoa, he knows her. I don't remember him knowing her. But he basically tells her, stand down, and they go at it to a certain degree. Cap is looking for Gyrick too. He wants him and things like that. And of course, Cap saying, I can't do this. He's trying to be diplomatic, okay? That's the thing. People are forgetting what Cap stands for, who he stands for. He doesn't just stand for what you think he's supposed to stand for. And I think that's where Rogue was trying to, she's like, well, if you go with me, then it'll make people see that you, the great Captain America, stands for us as well. I get where she was coming from. I get it, but it was petty for what she did after. She threw his shield, and it was just like, I looked at it, I'm like, Rogue, really? Steve looked at him like, really? Now, outside of that, it was what Steve said that really got my attention. And I hear nobody talking about it. But what he said, I'm trying to find information on where, so my team and I, right there. Did you hear what, that's what he said really got my attention. My team, keyword, my team. So that was also interesting, but it was good to see Cap. It was good. And if that was Josh Keaton doing the voice, he did a good job. Josh Keaton's one of the GOATs. He's one of the GOATs. It doesn't matter. He's one of the GOATs, and the man could do anybody's voice and I wouldn't care. So it is what it is. And of course, we see the X-Men arrive in Genosha, and they're helping with the survivors or so. We got to see Strong Guy talking to Roberto, and we get to see some survivors. Jean and Scott are still kind of on it, but she kind of gets it to a degree. But more importantly, there's a survivor. There's a survivor, and the survivor is Emma Stone. Emma White, the White Queen, who in this we have introduced secondary mutations, because when Jean discovered her, when they pulled her out of the rubble, she was in her diamond form, and they never saw that. And even Beast even said, well, another mutation that may have come under grief. And she says, I always, something like that. I was like, I figured she survived. So yeah, her secondary mutation of going diamond is the first that we finally get to see it in this. So the secondary mutations, hints that secondary mutations we're gonna see more of them probably down the line. Roberto goes to his parents and tells his mom that he's a mutant. And Mama knows. She already knows. That was another thing. She knew. And she said her mother knows. She knows. She always said, I wonder how everything was burning and things like that. Okay. But now they're saying basically to keep it quiet, because they don't want their shareholders knowing that they have a mutant in the family. So close, but yet so far. The X-Men discover Trask, and Trask, they lead them, and Trask tells them that there's somebody else involved, and he was gonna kill himself. And unfortunately, Rogue catches him. However, Rogue lets this man go. She drops him. And I love Nightcrawler, what he said, Rogue, what have you done? Like, what have you done? And I love what Morph said, is this is what we become now? And yeah, you got Wolverine saying what we should have done a long time ago. Yes, I get it. I saw this too online, especially on Twitter or X. People saying, I wish more heroes did this. If a hero kills a villain, that don't make him a hero no more. He's no better than the villain. And I even put that on a post. I forget the woman's name. I think her name she was at 616 LeBeau or something like that. And I said, that's stupid. So I said to her, okay, so let me get this straight. So you want more heroes doing that. So Peter Parker should have killed the man that killed Uncle Ben. Batman, Bruce Wayne should have killed Joe Chill, the man who shot Martha and Thomas Wayne. Right? They would have been no better than them. People need to stop acting like, okay, well, heroes need to do that. Fuck no, because then that makes them, they're no heroes then. Rogue did it, she was grieving. Because let's fast forward. Let's backwards. This happened before, and with the X-Men, and I didn't see Rogue do that before, but the fact that it happened to her man, yeah, she's grieving. What did I just say this episode was about? Grieving. Now, Wolverine will be Wolverine, okay, but as he said it too, we all grieve in our own way. It is true. That was her way of grieving. However, Trask was not dead, or he was already dead, but he was something more. We saw a version of a Sentinel hybrid, human hybrid. And as soon as I saw that, when they saw all that technology going there, I'm trying not to toot my own horn, people, but I'm just like, I told you, like, yeah, all those people that doubted me and said I was wrong, I told you Bastion is here. What did you think, you fools? Don't ever doubt me, because that's what Bastion is. He's a human Sentinel hybrid, and we get to see that. And Trask is taking out the X-Men. He takes 4 of them out, including Jean, Cyclops, Wolverine, morphs into Quicksilver, and does nothing to him. And of course, they are saved by a returning Cable. And Jean she kind of uses her powers, and of course, then she's like, whoa, she's like, wait a minute. And I love the line that she uses all this time, because she read Cable's mind before, and she says, all this time. And that's when Cyclops realizes that Cable is his son. And Cable says, no time for family reunions, Dad. I was like, okay, it makes sense. But yeah, Cable need to be a little bit more, stop, don't read my mind, get out of my head, you're not her. Well, technically, she is she is your mother. Your mother is a part of her. So get over it, Nathan. Chill with that. But yeah, it was great to see that. But he tells him there's bigger problems. And of course, that's what we saw. We saw Sinister. He's talking to somebody, and this somebody is the man that I said we're going to see after the results of the Genosian massacre. Bastion. And he was clowning Sinister like, you're from the old school villains. You guys haven't been able to put the X-Men down since 1992. I was like, okay, that was I like that shot that he took at Sinister. I was like, okay, but yeah. And then of course, Bastion knows that Professor Xavier is alive. Somehow he got hold of Shi'ar technology, and it was broadcasting what was going on. And so they basically say, so the X-Men have basically told the world a lie that Professor Xavier is dead. And he says, well, I've also had a little lie too. Then we see what the lie was. Magneto is alive. And once again, another Q&A on my Q&A last night, somebody asked me that, do you think Magneto's dead? And I said to them, well, I kind of do. I think when they said Omega level neutralized, I'm like, okay, he may be dead, but no, he's alive. And Bastion has him tied up, collar around his neck, and telling him he's about to shave him or something like that. I'm like, oh shit, he's alive. So yeah, outside of that, very good episode about grief. Really good. Now, Bastion. I said it before, and I told y'all, don't doubt me. For everybody out there that was sending me DM messages or messaged me on X saying you're wrong, the overarching villain is going to be sinister. I told you that it was going to be Bastion, because the last three episodes are pulling right from the story arc where Bastion made his grand SEO entrance, and I knew it. And you should have seen it was Bastion, because we saw him in that picture with Forge, and I told y'all. So, but for everybody who doesn't know, yes, Bastion is not fully human. He's a human hybrid. You saw that tube that was in his head, yeah. Will Professor Xavier get back in time? I don't know. Maybe I'm sure he probably can. But at the end of it, yes, Professor Xavier will be coming back. Gambit will return, but most likely as a villain, a horseman. I'm betting money on that. There's no way he's just coming back as Gambit. Apocalypse will be back, and I won't be surprised that when we do see him. I won't be shocked if we don't see Apocalypse. Maybe at the end of the season, and he's gonna form a new Four Horsemen. Seeing Emma alive gives me a sense that she may somewhere down the line join the X-Men, or we might see her form Generation X. Even though I'm not the biggest Emma Frost fan, y'all know that. I said Emma Stone earlier, I meant Emma Frost. But yeah, they didn't say how many people died in Genosha, because the number was 16 million mutants died in the massacre, but they didn't say that. We got to see also Amelia, one of Charles Xavier's ex-girlfriends, the one that can turn into smoke. Amelia Vaughn, she was there, so I was glad to see her. The biggest thing for me was Gambit's funeral, where Belladonna was there, because Belle don't like, she's not a fan of Gambit after, he chose Rogue over her. Belle has always said, I'm gonna kill her. She wants to kill. So I was shocked that she was there. I wasn't shocked that Bobby, his brother, and I wasn't shocked that Pierre, two members of the Guild of Thieves. But outside of that, I love the eulogy by Nightcrawler. I really enjoyed that very much. I enjoyed the action. I laughed at when Roberto's mother realized that he was a mutant, because I'm like, yeah, mother knows. So, and she just drank something and just said, yeah, I know. It's like, okay. But I wasn't shocked that she said, now we got to keep it a secret, because if I remember in the comics, that was the same way, because that the Della Costa family comes from money and has all these shareholders. I get it. It was great to see Cap. I said it before. I have this strong feeling we're gonna see the Avengers somewhere down the line. We might see them in the finales helping the X-Men. So for everybody out there that thinks that that's a one and done cameo, I beg to differ. Outside of that, this was a good episode, and now starts to count down 3 more episodes for this series before it ends. And I already know I've heard that they're already working on season 3. I think they already have completed, I guess, the writing or so for season 2. There's no way this is just a one and done. No fucking way. This show is going to continue to go. And this show has already started to bring about more people, more studios thinking about reviving classic cartoons, classic animation and shows back. And if Marvel is going to continue this with other classic Marvel cartoons, then yes, indeed, I'm saying it right now. Let's do a Spider-Man 1998. Let's do another season of Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's do the Avengers again. Let's do that. I'm all for it. But whatever comes in the future, I'll be ready. But this was a good episode. It was all about grief. Was it as good as the previous? Was it good as? I think everybody's gonna say, was it good as the standard bearer now of episode 5? No, but it was good, and Rogue got to shine, but she was grieving. My baby was grieving. That girl was grieving, and she was grieving hard. She did it in her own way. And over time, when the grief kind of subsides, I guarantee you she's gonna realize what I did was wrong. There's no fucking way she is not going to think otherwise. And what might happen, and I'll end it with this, Rogue might leave the team and go on her walkabout to maybe be able to focus her powers. I have this strong feeling that we're going to see Rogue be able to control the power, so she'll be able to touch people. I want that, just like in the comics. And we may even see the X-Men get banished from America, and they might do their Australian tour when they were in Australia. There's so much they can pull from for this series. I don't know. I'm just saying there are a lot of ideas that are thrown out of my head. But with that being said, guys, you guys tell me in the comment section below, what did you think of episode 7 of Bright Eyes of X-Men 97? And I will see you guys next week for the start of the countdown of this season finale, because there are 3 episodes left, and it's all about X stands for extinction or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, Bastion's here. Get ready. And I was right. Don't doubt me. That's going out to all the doubters that said I was wrong. I'm not talking about the pack. But outside of that, you guys take care. Deuces.